So let me tell you something, friends. Out on the road, after enough years and enough miles, you hear stories. Some are just truck stop tales told between greasy fries and burnt coffee, urban legends with CB static and a punchline. But then, there's other ones. The kind that crawl up your spine while you're driving the late shift through the mountains. The kind that don't get told unless it's real quiet, and there ain't another rig for miles, and even your radio don't want to talk anymore. This one? It's one of those. Guy's name was Rick Mallory. You ask around the long-haul community and someone's heard of him. Real deal. Straight shooter. No drama, no trouble. Ran dry loads mostly. Boxes, paper goods, sometimes furniture. Nothing fancy. Missouri-based. But he clocked more hours westbound than most rookies even dream of. Always solo. He liked it that way. Said a man could find peace behind the wheel if he kept the windows cracked and the music low. Rick didn't believe in ghost stories, didn't believe in much of anything except asphalt, diesel, and time, but even Rick saw something. Now this was late October, that matters. There's a strange stillness out west when fall settles in, the kind of stillness that makes the air feel heavy. The trees have gone brittle, the sky sits too low, and sometimes the road looks like it's falling off the edge of the world. Rick had a run out of St. Louis, headed to some distro yard near Reno. Easy route. Weather was clear, fuel was cheap. But somewhere around Rawlins, Wyoming, things went sideways. We got a transmission, short, crackly, like he was whispering from the bottom of a well. He'd pulled into a rest stop off I-80, one of those places. That barely qualifies. Just 2 vending machines, 1 flickering light, and a bathroom that smells like roadkill and bleach. Here's what Rick said. If anything happens, check exit 212, the one before the ghost town, last one. You'll know it when you see it. Then static, that's it, no follow-up, no, I'm fine, just that exit 212. Now, I know what you're thinking. Guys go off grid all the time. Maybe he had a breakdown. Maybe he got sick of life behind the wheel and decided to pull a runner, find himself a beach and a bottle somewhere south of the border. But that ain't Rick. I knew the man. You could set your damn watch by his route times. He didn't miss deliveries. He didn't skip calls, and he didn't joke about ghost towns. Hell, he didn't even believe in the tooth fairy. And yet he said what he said, exit 212, ghost town, last one. Now, here's where the shivers really start. We found the truck. Yup. 3 days later, Wyoming Highway Patrol spotted it parked off. A gravel shoulder, about 2 miles past the real last exit. Rick's rig was just sitting there, still upright. Trailer sealed. Engine cold. Doors locked from the inside. Think about that. Let it settle into your bones. When the tow crew popped it open, they expected to find a dead battery. Maybe Rick curled up on the sleeper cot. Maybe he'd had a heart attack or something, peaceful. But no Rick, no blood, no struggle, just nothing. The cab was clean, real clean. Like someone had scrubbed it down, like it had been sterilized. Rick's thermos was still half full in the cup holder. Still warm. His keys were in the ignition. His logbook opened to a blank page, and right there on the dash, like a final middle finger to logic, was his wallet. ID, cards, cash, everything. He hadn't run. He hadn't been robbed. He hadn't been dragged off screaming. It was like he'd just evaporated, gone, like the road took him. And you know what else? The onboard GPS trace, they pulled that too. The digital breadcrumbs. It showed Rick had taken an off-ramp, one that officially doesn't exist, not anymore. Exit 212, yeah. I looked it up myself later. Dug through old highway logs, county maps from back when things still got printed on paper. Turns out there was an exit 212 once. Back in the 60s, it led to a mining town called Easley Hollow. You ever hear of Easley Hollow? You're lucky, because no one with sense talks about that place anymore. They say the town dried up and died after the mines collapsed. Whole shifts of men buried alive. Bodies never recovered. And after that, stranger things. Townsfolk went weird, people vanished, animals born with extra legs. Finally, the government came in and shut the place down, blasted the main road out, covered the rest with dirt. But Rick found a way in, or maybe the town found him. That rest stop where he made that call, folks around Rawlins say that place gets cold sometimes. Not regular cold, bone cold, like the dead are watching, like they're waiting. And every so often, maybe once a year, maybe once every 5, they say a driver will take the wrong turn. The last turn, and then, like Rick, poof, never heard from again. Perfect. Let's dim the lights a little more and roll right into the darkness. You ever drive a stretch of highway that just feels wrong? I'm not talking potholes or bad shoulders. I mean the kind of road that gets quiet, where your headlights don't seem to reach as far as they should, and the air feels thick, like it's trying to keep something in, not out. That's what it's like around mile marker 211. Now this spot, it's just west of Rawlins, out on I-80, smack in the middle of nothing. If you're heading west, you'll see the landscape start to open up. Scrubby hills, maybe a few oil pumps creaking in the dark. But at 211, the trees come back. Only they don't look like trees anymore. They're twisted, black bark, like they've been burned but never fell. And they grow too close to the road, leaning in like they're listening. I know it sounds crazy, but I've seen them myself. Branches that almost touch your rig even though there's no wind. Anyway, that's where Rick's GPS pinged last, just past that marker. That's where the breadcrumbs stop. Now let me tell you what they found when they pulled up the route data. At 9:43 p.m., Rick was doing 65 clear skies, traffic light. At 9:51 his rig slowed to 40. At 9:52 the rig veered right. No exit ramp on the GPS, just off the highway, like the road reached out and took him. After that, nothing. No brakes, no acceleration, just a dead signal. The weird part? There's no official exit 212 on the maps anymore. I'm dead serious. Pull up a satellite view. You'll see 210, then a gap, then 213. Nothing in between but trees, hills, and an old service road that loops into the dark and disappears under a thicket of pines. But Rick, he saw it. He said it himself. The last one. You'll know it when you see it. And people have seen it, not many, but enough. Let me tell you about Bobby Train, rookie out of Topeka. Young guy. Ran his own YouTube channel, dashcam rolling all the time, one of those life-on-the-road vloggers. He came through that same stretch 6 months after Rick disappeared. You can still find his last video online. Well, most of it. He's driving west, talking to the camera, babbling about how cold it got all of a sudden. Says something like, "I think the AC's stuck. Cold as a morgue in here." Then he pauses. His eyes shift to the passenger window. Camera jerks. The hell. I didn't see that on the map. And the feed cuts. 30 seconds later, the video flicks back on, but there's no Bobby. Just static. Then a faint voice. Barely a whisper, like it's coming from under the truck. Not supposed to stop. Click. That's the end of Bobby. Train. Never made it to his delivery. His rig was found 2 weeks later, same as Rick's, locked, sealed, engine off, still warm. Dashcam was the only thing still running. And guess where they found it? That old gravel shoulder. Right near mile marker 211. Right near the road that shouldn't be there. I drove that stretch once myself, couple winters back, just to see. I wasn't planning on stopping. Hell no. I kept my eyes forward, radio on full blast, windows cracked to let the air move. But somewhere around 211, my headlights picked up something on the side of the road. Looked like a sign. Just a rusted metal panel, barely standing. No numbers, just a crooked arrow pointing off the highway and into a gap in the trees. I felt my fingers twitch on the wheel, not in control. Like something was pulling me. I gripped the wheel hard and whispered aloud, "Not tonight, you bastard." I floored it and didn't look back. But in the rear view, I swear to God, I saw taillights turning down that road, only there was no car behind me, just trees and the dark. You see, they say that exit only appears to some. People who've been driving too long, people carrying something they ain't proud of. Ghosts in the cab, if you catch my meaning. Maybe Rick saw something in his mirrors. Something that made him take that turn, or maybe the road just opened up for him. That's what people say, that the road chooses. And once you're on it, you don't come back. Not all the way. Want to hear what we found inside Rick's truck when we towed it? It wasn't just the coffee or the wallet. There was a smell, something old, not rotting, not mold. Something worse, like old earth. Like the smell you get in a graveyard just after the rain. And on the passenger seat? A handprint? Not fresh. Dried. Too small for a grown man. Too long for a child. And black around the edges, like it had been burned. Into the leather, like someone or something was riding with him that night. You still with me? Good. You're going to want to top off your coffee before I tell you about Easley Hollow, because that's where Rick was heading. And if the road don't kill you, that town might. Easley Hollow ain't on your average map. Oh sure, you can find it in the archives. If you dig through enough yellowed county records or talk to the right grizzled gas station attendant who's been chain-smoking in the same stool since '85. But GPS, Google, nothing. Like the town got wiped off the digital earth, and maybe it did. Now I'll be honest, I only heard about Easley Hollow after Rick vanished. Before that it was just a ghost story. Something old-timers mumbled about when the coffee was gone and the night was pressing in too tight. But once Rick disappeared and the truck turned up near exit 212, that exit that ain't supposed to be there, well, that's when folks started whispering again. Back in the 1940s, Easley Hollow was a booming coal town. Big mines, lots of jobs, enough money to build schools, churches, even a movie house. But underneath all that, depth tunnels, miles deep, shafts that ran like veins under the hills. Too deep, some said. They dug too far, hit something they shouldn't have. And then the collapse happened, one shaft after another, like dominoes falling straight into hell. The official count was 36 dead. Unofficial? More like 80. Whole families gone. Some of them were never found. They just sank. After that, people said the ground wasn't right. Livestock born twisted. Shadows that stretched the wrong way at dusk. Windows cracking from the inside. By '78, the government bought the land, sealed the mine entrances with concrete and steel, and decommissioned the town. That was the story anyway. But there were rumors, always rumors. People claimed they still saw lights up in those hills, fires that didn't flicker like they should, people who weren't quite people anymore. A few hikers tried to explore the area in the early 2000s, couple teenagers, some ghost hunters. None of them ever made it. Out with their gear. One of them, a girl named Jodie Ferrell, stumbled back out 3 days later. Naked, eyes gone white. Didn't say a word for the rest of her life. Wrote one sentence in a spiral notebook before they committed her. The town is still breathing. Rick, he didn't know all that. He wasn't the superstitious type, remember? Would have laughed if someone told him a town could breathe. But what got me? He knew the name. On that radio call, the last one he ever made, he said it plain as day. The one before the ghost town. No one calls it that unless they've heard the stories. Unless someone told him. So who told Rick? And why was he headed there? Some say the road draws you in. Others say there's something in the airwaves, something old leaking through static. I've seen drivers fall asleep behind the wheel with the CB on low and wake up talking in someone else's voice. Crazy? Maybe. But Rick took the road. And what we found in the truck makes me think something in that town came back with him. There was a note in the glove box, still folded, written in chicken scratch handwriting that didn't match Rick's. One sentence. Don't listen to her. She lies. Who's she? The town? A person? A thing? And why the hell would you need to write that? Down unless you were hearing her in your head? I talked to a guy, retired dispatcher from Reno named Eddie. Said Rick called him 2 days before that final run. Didn't leave a voicemail. Just a quiet, static-filled message. Eddie still had it saved on his old answering machine. Played it. For me once. All you can hear is Rick breathing like he's running. Then, clear as day, she's in the trailer. I didn't open it. I swear to God I didn't open it. Then a whisper, faint but unmistakable. Not Rick, a woman's voice. Soft, sweet. You're going the wrong way, Ricky. Come home. After that, nothing. Silence, like the town swallowed him whole. Look, I know how this all sounds, like a bedtime story gone sour. But that town, Easley Hollow, wants to be forgotten, and yet it keeps pulling people in, not just truckers. Anyone who sees that road. They say once you turn off the highway, time gets strange. That clocks stop working. That your phone dies, even with a full charge. And that if you listen closely enough, you can hear someone humming under the floorboards of your cab. That voice? It ain't yours. So next time you're driving west and you see a sign you weren't expecting, a rusted metal panel, half sunk into the dirt with no numbers, no name, don't follow it. And for the love of all that's holy, if you hear someone, say your name in a voice that sounds almost right but not quite. Don't answer. Because easily hollow, it's not abandoned, it's just waiting. All right, brave soul, you've made it this far. No turning back now. Things are about to get loud. In all the wrong ways, welcome to... You ever hear a voice that don't belong? Not on the radio, not in the cab, not even in your own head, but somewhere in between, like it's leaking through the seams of the world. That's what this chapter's about. Because Rick may have vanished, but his radio didn't. See, after we found his truck and after the glove box note and that scorched handprint, some boys from the yard decided to dig deeper. Not officially. Dispatch just closed the file. Driver gone missing, no foul play, case unresolved. Just like that. Neat little box. But some of us, we needed answers. And that's when Andy Fuller stepped in. Now Andy was a tech nut, former Marine turned long-haul trucker. Smart as hell, twitchy as a raccoon in a thunderstorm. He pulled the comm logs from Rick's rig before it got towed out of state, dug into the CB recordings, the GPS feed, dash cam, anything with a wire in it. What he found should have stayed. Buried October 30th, 10:06 p.m. That's when the real weirdness started. The dashcam flicks on all by itself. There's no driver in frame, just the highway, empty, quiet. But the rig's moving, steering itself. How nobody knows. Engine diagnostics showed nothing abnormal. Then you hear it. Rick, are you listening? A woman's voice, whispery, like a lullaby sung through a dying speaker. But here's the thing. It's coming through the CB radio, not the cab mic. That's impossible. CBs only pick up nearby signals, and there wasn't a single other truck on that stretch. The logs confirm it. Rick was alone. And then, it gets real bad. 10:14 p.m., CB channel, 19. I missed you, Ricky. Come back to town. The lights are on. There's a flicker. Like the video glitches. You see a shape in the corner of the frame. Quick. Just a flash. Looks like someone standing on the road. Wearing something old like dust-covered Sunday best from the 1940s. White collar. No face. Andy enhanced it frame by frame. Guess what he found? There's no shadow. And when it flickers out, the voice changes. No more soft lullaby. Now it's wrong, too loud. Warped, like static learned how to scream, "You took the wrong exit." The radio bursts into full static and then, for just 3 seconds, there's something else. Another voice. Rick, panicked. Breathing hard. She's in the back, she crawled out, the back's not locked. Any more, God help me, she's... Then silence. Andy was never the same after that. He didn't sleep for 3 nights. Swore he could still hear Rick's voice, not in his speakers but in the wires. Said his own rig would power up at night. Dash lights blinking like Morse code. One night he tore out the CB unit completely. Crushed it with a hammer, didn't matter. The voice kept coming, from the empty radio slot. Now, here's where it gets twisted. Andy wasn't the only one hearing. Things dispatchers, real buttoned-up types, started reporting cross-channel interference. Every time someone drove through the 210-213 stretch, they'd get phantom signals. Same frequency, always female, always that same eerie tone. Last exit's coming up, sweetheart. Don't miss it this time. Then one of them, Sarah Kemp, 10-year dispatch vet, swore she got a call from Rick's old CB handle. 2 weeks after he disappeared, she picked up the line and all she heard was, "I didn't stop, I swear I didn't stop." Then click, "Let me tell you something, friend. You can take a man out of the road, but the road doesn't forget. And sometimes, it calls you back." That radio? It's not just static. Not just lonely truckers passing time. It's a door, a signal. And out near mile marker 211, that door's wide open. Something on the other side is listening and talking back. One last thing, Andy disappeared 3 months later. Left his rig idling at a truck stop outside Battle. Mountain dot keys in the ignition, CB mic still swinging. Logbook was blank. Only thing written anywhere was on the rearview mirror, in red grease pencil. Tried to ignore her. She found me anyway. Good. But I gotta warn you. This is the part of the story where people usually stop listening. or they wish they had. Because what's coming next, it's not just about vanishing trucks or haunted radios. No. This next part, it's about what's still alive beneath Easley Hollow. So grip that. Coffee tight and don't look out the window. Nobody wanted to go. Can't blame them. After Rick's truck turned up and Andy went missing, the whole thing got real quiet in the community. Like truckers knew, instinctively, to keep their wheels off I-80 for a while. Dispatchers stopped. Booking runs through that part of Wyoming. Drivers started adding 2, 3, even 4 hours to their routes, just a detour around mile marker 211, but there's always one guy who can't let it go. For us, that was Mitch Grover. Now, Mitch wasn't your average rig jockey. Used to be search and rescue. Got out of it after some avalanche in Colorado, never said much about it, but he limped heavy on his right side. Trucking was quieter, easier. But after Rick and Andy both vanished, Mitch got that look in his eye, like something unfinished had. Followed him off the mountain and was calling again. He started planning, didn't tell dispatch, didn't bring backup, just printed out some topographic maps from the 70s and circled an old long-gone road, packed his truck, brought a body cam, handheld radio and a journal, said he was going to follow the signal. I begged him not to, but he went anyway. October 31st, Halloween midnight. Mitch radioed in one last time. I found it. Exit 212. There's no sign, but it's here. Just appeared. Then, trees don't look right. No birds, no bugs. It's too quiet. Static. Then nothing. 2 days later, his truck was found. Same place as Rick's. Locked, clean, still warm. Dashcam was ripped out, wires dangling like veins. The trailer, empty, except for Mitch's journal. Now listen close, because I read that thing cover to cover, and what he wrote down, it's the most messed up thing I've ever seen. The road led straight into the woods. No curves, just long and narrow, like a tunnel with no light at the end. Trees leaned over like they wanted to touch the roof of the cab. 10 miles in, I passed what used to be a welcome sign. Easley Hollow, a proud mining town since 1911. Only the year had been scratched out, clawed out, like someone with nails sharp enough to carve steel. Then the radio kicked on by itself. A girl's voice singing softly, old song. I think it was a lullaby. Something about going to sleep and the dark being kind. That part gave me chills, because Rick said the same thing once before he vanished. Something about a song. Soft, sweet, like my mom used to sing before bed. Only Rick's mother had died when he was 7. Back to the journal. The town is still standing, kinda. Most of the buildings are sagging in on themselves, but they're still there. Main Street, church, even the movie theater. The sign says, "Coming soon, her." I swear I saw someone standing in the doorway of the old post office. A woman, pale, wearing red, but she wasn't breathing. She just tilted her head, and her mouth moved like she was whispering, but there was no sound. I parked near what used to be the mine entrance. It's sealed up now, but I could hear things scratching, tapping, like something's been trying to dig its way out. I think she lives under the ground. I think that's why the hollow's still here, not abandoned, just waiting. One of the last pages had this. I saw Rick. He's not Rick anymore. His eyes were all black, no whites, and he smiled too wide. Said, "Welcome back, Mitch, she's been waiting for you." I ran. The final entry, just 3 words, "She's in me." That was the last we ever heard from Mitch Grover. He never came back. Some say he's still in Easley Hollow, walking the streets in circles, whispering lullabies to no one. Some say he found the woman in red and opened the mine. Others say he never really left, that his voice sometimes breaks through on CB Channel 19, just repeating the same phrase, "Don't listen to her, don't listen to her, don't listen to her." But I heard something else once, 2 months ago. Middle of the night, rolling through Nevada, my CB sparked to life with no warning. Loud burst of static, then silence. And then a voice. Hers. "He's not yours anymore." I didn't believe it, not at first, even after Rick vanished. Even after Andy tore his CB out and still heard the voice. Even after Mitch's journal. All that scratching from the mine, the ghost town still breathing, that thing in red. I thought, nah, it's just stories. But then I saw the sign, same place, I-80, somewhere between mile 210 and 213. No reason for me to be there. I was detouring north, up toward Idaho, but I missed a turn. GPS glitched, route recalculated. Suddenly I'm back on that damn stretch even though I hadn't been near Rawlins in years, and then there it was. Exit 212, just a single rusted sign, half covered in pine needles. No numbers, no arrows, just leaning like it was waiting for someone to notice it. And I did. God help me. I did. I told myself I wouldn't take it. I gripped the wheel, turned up the radio, static every channel. Then I felt the cold, like the AC cranked itself up, but colder. Wet, like the inside of a crypt. And the mirrors, they started fogging up from the inside. Then the voice came. You've been listening this whole time, huh? Why stop now? She sounded like my mother. But my mum's been dead since I was 17, so I took the exit. It felt like I drove for hours. No signs. No lights, just black forest and a ribbon of road that never curved. Trees leaned in like they were whispering to each other. I turned the radio off, but the hum didn't stop. It was coming from inside the truck, like it had bled into the wires, into the bones of the rig, and then ahead, the town, easily hollow, just like Mitch wrote. Old buildings sagging like tired bodies, street lamps glowing even though there was no power. No wind, no sound. I parked. Didn't want to. My hands moved without me. I got out, boots crunching on gravel that sounded too loud, too sharp, like walking on broken glass. Every building I passed had someone inside, figures in windows, not moving, just watching. Walked up the steps of the old chapel. Door was open. Inside, candles burned, but they didn't flicker. No heat, just light. And at the pulpit, she was waiting. The woman in red, skin white as bone china, hair like old blood. No eyes, just sockets full of ash? She smiled, and I swear to you, when she opened her mouth, I heard every CB transmission I'd ever made, all at once, screaming, begging, crying, laughing. You've been listening, she whispered. Now. Say something back, and I did. I don't even remember what, just words. My voice wasn't mine anymore, and I felt something move behind me. Rick, or what's left of him, black eyes, no pupils, smile like broken glass. Behind him, Mitch. His mouth sewn shut with red thread, tears leaking down his face. Shaking his head. Like, don't do it. Like it was already too late. The woman in red floated down from the pulpit. She didn't walk. She glided, like her feet never touched the ground, like she belonged to whatever was under it. She placed her hand on my chest, and it burned through my coat, through my skin, right into my heart. And she whispered, "You're hollow now." Then, darkness. I woke up in my truck, parked on the shoulder near mile marker 213, engine dead, cab full of pine needles, CB mic hanging. On the windshield, in the fog. Next time, stay. That was 3 months ago, and I haven't driven since. I can't, because every time I get behind a wheel, even a rental car, the radio comes on by itself, always tuned to channel 19, and sometimes I hear my own voice, calling, out from inside the hollow. You ever hear a trucker's last words? They don't scream, they whisper. I didn't take the exit, it took me. So if you're ever out near Rawlins and the highway goes quiet, and the trees lean in, and you see a rusted sign with no numbers, don't stop, don't slow down, don't even look. Because that's not an exit, that's a door, and what's behind it, she's still waiting.